The first thing that comes to me when you ask that is to not take things so personal with people. You can't take it personal at all. You never know what they're going through their days. I mean, it doesn't excuse them to treat you poorly, but it stuck with me a lot that if these people were to meet you in a grocery store and say hi, and you said hi to them, they would not treat you like that.
All right, guys, welcome to the Door-to-Door Experts podcast. We're in the studio with Wendy Jones. Wendy Jones is a Golden Door Award winner in pest control. And this is probably bad because I work here at Door-to-Door Experts. But what is the criteria, Wendy, to earn a pest control Golden Door? What did you have to do to win that Golden Door?
So sell over 1,000 counts, or they just changed the revenue this year, but it was $650K revenue last year with $500K retention.
And what year did you get it? Just this last Door-to-Door Con here in January?
Yeah, 2024.
2024. Dang, that's savage. 650K rev. Wow. How old are you?
I made it with the accounts. That's how I got mine.
So you sold over 1,000.
Yeah.
What was the total number?
So I ended at 1,041 serviced.
1,041 serviced accounts? Holy cow. That's gnarly. You guys tune in because she clearly knows what she's doing. So you're going to learn from her today. Where are you based out of, Wendy?
Houston, Texas right now.
You're in Houston? Do you sell in market or do you travel like summer programs for Pest?
No, just staying here in Houston.
You're staying there in Houston?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, for the people tuning in who may not know you, why don't you give us a little bit of a background, who you are, where you come from, how you got into the industry, just pretty much a high level overview of how you got into the industry and to where you're at now.
Yeah, so I'm from a small town, Chihuahua, Mexico. A big family, lots of cousins, lots of people.
How many siblings?
So my mom and dad had 7. I'm the baby out of the 7, but then there's more after me. So I get the best of both worlds, the youngest and someone after me too.
Nice.
But yeah, I grew up small town, Chihuahua, Mexico. My cousin ended up marrying someone. They started a pest control company, and my brothers went to sell with them when I was young, like 13. And they came back, and I just remember them always saying that everyone has to do sales at least once in their life, just with everything you learn from it. And that always stuck with me. And then my cousin, when we got older, she asked me, the company was still around, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to try sales?" And I told her no that year. I wasn't ready. And then she asked me again the next year. She was like, "Are you ready now?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I was only planning on doing it that first year just to learn, like my brothers always said. And then I've been here ever since. So they're good at their job.
Wow. How old were you when you got into sales?
I was 18.
You were 18.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, you were a young gun. And were you there, same company that you're at now?
Yeah, same company. It's my
Is
family.
your cousin? Oh, yeah, that's right. So your family cousins, they still work there as well?
Yeah, so it's really nice because I get to work with a lot of my cousins, a lot of my primas, and we all stay in an apartment. That means cousins in English, but we all stay in an apartment, super close knit, and it's been a really big blessing. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. So give us the journey so that was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Give us the journey. What was it like as a rookie? You were in, you hopped on with the family. You did it more so to learn, right? Just do it for a year, learn, because they're saying it's a good learning experience, and then jump out to a real job, right? So Clearly you're here 4 years later, Golden Door. Give us the journey, the last 4 years. What was it like for you as a rookie, et cetera, up until just being an industry savage?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot. So my first year, I just kind of more went into with that aspect of, obviously the money's good too, right? But the main thing is I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow emotionally. And so my first year was it was pretty damn tough. I feel like every year does get easier and easier, but yeah, my first year was definitely the hardest. Everything's just so new, and all the, you know how it is, all the rejection, everything you face that first year. You know, I tried so hard. They all told me you might sit on the curb and cry, but I tried so hard to not let it happen. I don't think I cried.
Did it ever happen? Did you ever have a curb
It ended up happening it's funny because it happened like the last month, finally, it was almost done, right? And then I was like, you know what, like, I'm just going to let it out. Like, cause I just kept holding it in. I was like, I'm just going to let it out. So I just bawled my eyes out and cried. But, and I called my brother. I called him a lot for advice the first year, and they were really big support. I feel like through all these years of doing it, my family's been a really big support. So that's been a really big blessing. Yeah, I'm sure, you know, like the first year you get back home and you're telling all these stories to your cousins, and you have all these, or just anybody that's on there, you're like, this happened to me today and this happened to me. And then as the years go by, it just gets more and more normal as you get thicker skin. And then as far as the golden door journey, I remember I didn't find out what a golden door was till I think my third year. So the year before I got it. And I just remember hearing what it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, like no way, like who could do that? That's insane, you know, like that's amazing. Yeah. And then my cousin Rosie is actually the one that gave me the push to even go for it. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even have gone for it. So she was like, hey, like, let's go to DoorDoorCon. Like, let's look into it. Our other cousin, Kayleen, just got one that year too. And we're like, hey, like this, you know, if she can do it, we can do it. This is really cool. So we went to DoorDoorCon, definitely learned a lot through the classes and everything. And then we set out to do it, and we committed, and it's been a journey. So we did it.
I love it. Where do you have your golden door plaque hung? Like,
so I have it. I actually have it right next to my bed. On the I'm still thinking of a place I want to put it, but I look at it. It makes really cool to look at it.
It's an honor, and those are pretty. They're pretty cool trophies too. We have them here at the office, you know, and I'm just like, that'd be cool to have for sure. So good for you. So a couple questions kind of leading up. I kind of want to understand more of your journey. You know, when you were brand new into this, how long would you say it took you to kind of find your stride? Like, were you coming out of the gates firing, making sales immediately, making a name for yourself, or was there like a learning curve that you had to go through? And if so, what was like that like for you?
Are you talking about like my other years or the?
Yeah, your first year, like rookie. Let's go back to rookie Wendy.
So my rookie year, kind of rephrase that question. Like, what are you asking me? Is it like, what was the journey?
So like, yeah, like when your first day on the doors, what was it like? That first day, those first few weeks, like what was like some of the most challenging things for you? Or because some people, you know, they come out of the gate swinging. Like first week, they're just making sales, like, oh, this is easy. Others are like, you know, I have friends and even myself where it's really hard in the beginning and there's like a borderline quit story, you know, and then they push through and it clicks for them and then they're just off to the races. I just want to know what it was like for you in the beginning, if it was just natural or if there was like, you know, push through some stuff to get your stride.
Yeah, I love this. That's a good question. So my first year, no, it definitely was not natural. I actually didn't make a sale till my third day. So I was sitting there thinking like, you know, because until you make one, you're just like, what am I doing? Like, is this even possible? Like, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I made one yet? Of course, all those thoughts go through your head. And then I just always had it in my head. Like, I always just knew to commit to it. Like, no matter how hard it was, I was going to finish the summer no matter what. So I didn't really have thoughts of quitting. It was never an option in my head to quit. I just wouldn't put it in there. But for sure, by that third day, I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, do I even know how to do this? I remember my first call, I had to call them for help because I didn't know how to set the customer up good enough. They walk you through it, of course, but when you're in the moment, you're like so nervous and almost shaking with that first customer. I remember that first sale so good. And I was patient with me, but yeah, definitely not natural. You know, I like for people to know that, like, honestly, there's nothing too crazy or special about me. I put in the hard work and did it, you know, so.
How soon? So you got your first sale on day number 3. And then from there, was it just smooth sailing, or did it take another day or two for another sale? Or, you know what I mean? Was that like the turning point, day 3?
Yeah. So that was a good question. So that was like, after that, it was, it was like regularly I would make sales. Definitely bageled a couple times that first year. I think in the end, probably bageled around 5 times that summer. But it's cool because my second summer, I decided and committed that no matter what, if I work hard all day, I just know for a fact I'm going to make a sale. And as long as I don't give up and I'm working hard, I'm going to make a sale. And I haven't bageled since my first year. So
really?
Yeah, I haven't bageled
every day.
Every day. At least one sale, yeah.
Wow, good for you.
And I feel like that belief is helped me a lot to make it happen. But of course, you pay the price of, hey, you're going to work hard all day. Don't be slacking. Don't be on your phone. Don't be, taking breaks all the time. Just as long as you're working hard all day, you'll make that sale. But don't give up. Keep going. You
may have just answered this question with learning about the principle of hard work, and it's just if you put in the work, like the results will come. Sales is a numbers game. In different industries as well. Like I come from solar particularly. So there's lots of days where you go without even getting a single lead, and 2, 3, you could be 3, 4 years into this job and you just know some days you're not going to get a lead, you're not going to get a sale, but then there's days where you get 3, you know what I mean? And it just all balances itself out. But so if you had to boil down your first summer and take one takeaway, one lesson that really just set you off on the trajectory for the rest of your career, the last 4 years, what do you think your biggest lesson from your first year was?
The first thing that comes to me when you ask that is to not take things so personal with people. Like you can't take it personal at all. You never know what they're going through their days. I mean, it doesn't excuse them to treat you poorly, but it stuck with me a lot that if these people were to meet you in a grocery store and say hi, and you said hi to them, they would not treat you like that. It's not that they don't like you, it's that they don't like what you do. So just to not take things so personal and get a thicker skin. And that was a big takeaway, not care so much about what people think about you.
Gotcha. I totally agree, because it's so easy. And I feel like that's what people struggle with the most is just the rejection element. You know what I mean? It's like, for some reason, a lot of reps kind of happen in their brain that people are kind of just like sitting around waiting for them to show up. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, hey, I'm here with X company. We're helping out your neighbors. And they're just like rudely shunning, like getting them off the door. And they're just like, what? It's like, you can't let that get to you. If you let that get to you, like you'll be done in a day, less. 5 doors of rejection and you're just like in your head. Do you have any like pre-knocking rituals, anything you do in the morning to get yourself in the right state of mind to work? Or are you one of those people that just, no matter what's going on, you don't need any of that, you just lock in?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing for me before I get out there is I love to say a prayer. I feel like that always is a big game changer for me, saying my prayer. There was something else I was going to say that I do, but when I'm driving out to area, I didn't do this my first years because I wasn't a car group driver, but I love to put on my music, like put that song on, and you just jam out as you're driving to area, get that good vibe going and energy before you get out on the doors. And then also when I get in the neighborhood, I always just make sure to just get out of my car as quick as possible, not be in there for too long. And start knocking, just get out there and start doing it. The longer you wait, the harder it is. So just get out there and start.
The longer you wait to jump, the water's not getting any warmer. You got to just get out. The hardest door is that car door, man. Have you ever had moments where you just get sucked into the car? You can share.
Yeah, usually if that happens, definitely not perfect, but there's usually something going on in life, personal that are the moments where I have a hard time getting out. Not necessarily the knocking. I mean, sometimes it can seem daunting, but I feel like the more you think about it, the worse it is. So the best thing you do is just get out there. But yeah, don't get me wrong. There's definitely days where, something's going on with family and you just take that extra moment in there, process it, get over it, and then get out there and start knocking.
Totally. Do you have any mentors that really helped you? I know you mentioned your family. You'd call someone in your family if you needed help. But once you kind of were self-sufficient, you got it down. Like, did you ever like find someone to glean off of, or were you one of those just like self-motivators, don't need help, I can do it, kind of go-getter?
I would say both. I would say both for sure. I definitely, my family was a big one. Like there's one time, well, this happened last year actually, that I was sick. I was really, really sick. And I was stressing it out so bad because it was already like the second or third day of me being sick. And not saying everyone should do this, but usually when I'm like feeling real bad, I'll probably just take a painkiller and still be out there. I probably shouldn't do that. But this time it was too bad to do that. I couldn't. Yeah. And I didn't want to miss any days knocking. And it was already like the third day of me not feeling good. And every day I wouldn't go out there. Like Rosie, my cousin, saw me, like I would literally cry because I felt like I needed to be out there, but I was feeling so bad and then guilty because I wasn't out there, and then I wasn't getting better. So then by the third day I was like, hey, I'm feeling more or less good. I'm gonna just get ready and get out there. And then as soon as I got there, like of course my body just felt like so weak, and just body aches. I had like a fever really bad. So I called my dad, and I was hoping he would tell me. I'm like, Dad, like I'm feeling sick, like all these things are going on. And I was hoping he was going to tell me like, it's okay, sweetie, like go home, you're good, right? And I'm telling him all the reasons and stuff, and him listening to me, I'm like, Dad, like I really feel sick, like I'm getting bad out here. And then he just tells me, he's like, Wendy, like I know you called me for a reason. You can't go home, you got to keep going. And I was like, really, Dad? Like you're not going to tell me to go home? He's like, nope, you need to keep knocking, get out of that mental thing. So I stayed out there. I still felt horrible, but I stayed out there, and then still made cells, and then the next day I was fine. So yeah, definitely had people to push me. Call my brothers too. They'd give me a lot of advice. And then I think a big one for me is just that mindset that you set for yourself. I think mindset is big too. So
I love that. It's huge. So you hit your golden door on year 4, right?
Yeah.
Year 4. How many accounts did you do your first summer? And are you on a summer program, or you do year round? Because I noticed in your bio, you started in January and knocked for the golden door all the way to November, correct? Like just straight.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Are you running a year round program, or are you doing summers, or you just do a year for that golden door?
So I usually do summers, usually just the 4 months. But for the golden door, like I knew when I went out to accomplish it, I just had it in my mind already. I'm like, hey, this is literally going to take me 10 months, 11 months to get it, and just buckle down and get it done. So usually it's just a summer thing, but for the golden door, I knew I was going to make that sacrifice to get it. So, I mean, I got a big family, so there's a lot of things I missed out on and didn't go to and sacrificed so I could go. A lot of weddings I missed, and some funerals too, but, and then they paid for a trip for us to go to Rome. Of course, I didn't go either because I was so focused on getting my goal. But
whoa, you were locked in.
Yeah. So sacrificing those things. Of course, I went to the things that were super important to me. So throughout the year, I ended up taking 2 weeks off, one for the Jones reunion and then another for my brother's wedding. Of course, I wasn't going to miss those things, but the rest of the year was a lock-in. So just 10 months straight out there on the door is definitely hard. I'm sure you can imagine, but yeah.
Are you in process of doing it again this year? Or no?
No, not this year. This year I'm focusing on a lot of things I had on the back burner last year that I didn't make time for. So.
Gotcha. Are you still going to go out this summer?
Yeah, I'll still be out there this summer, but just regular summer.
Just regular. When does your season start?
May. So next month, May through August.
Next month. And are you staying in market in Houston?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll still be here.
Nice. Okay. So kind of walk me through that prep when you made the mental decision that you wanted to get a golden door. I mean, that's remarkable, by the way, the sacrifices and the work you put in to get that done, everything you missed, trips, etc., just straight locked in. So just walk me through that process of like, when you made that decision that like, hey, I want to get this golden door award. And how did you kind of set that up? Like, or did you? You know, sometimes it's just like a quick decision. You seem like the person that just sets her mind to something and it's done. You don't need to really make a detailed plan or anything of that nature. But if you did, kind of walk me through that process of how you set up that year.
Yeah. So before I committed to it, I had to realize what it was going to take, the price I was going to have to pay. That price was going to be basically that whole year of my life for that, right?
Mhm.
So I already had it in my head that, hey, this is going to take a long time to do. And then when I went out and got it, it was me and my cousin. We were going for it together.
Mhm.
And we went to the door-to-door the door-to-door con to get the inspiration and stuff. But my cousin that had done it before me, she definitely was a big example for us to look up to. I didn't really call her for advice so much. I felt like if I needed to, though, I would have asked her something. But I feel like for the most part, I was good with the mindset and stuff. But at the door-to-door con, just getting the advice, like one of the things that they told us to do was to make a recording of yourself saying you were going to get it. And I remember this was really important. So I remember recording it for the first time, saying it out loud. And it was like when the words came out of my mouth, I'm going to get a Golden Door Award. Like I made 1,000 accounts. Like I serviced 1,000 accounts. I was like, whoa, like, did I just say that? Like I was scared to even say it out loud, much less to admit it to my family that that's what I wanted to do. So saying that out loud, like that shock of being just nervous and scared to say it, was the funniest feeling ever. And then have it on recording and listen to it. But it's like, I believe a lot in what you say and what you tell yourself has a lot of power, what you believe. So, I mean, it's good to be mindful of that. But it's not like I listen to it every day. That's what they recommended us to do. But just stating it out loud was so like powerful, I guess you could say. It was like, wow, like, okay, I got to do it now. And then also it's really important to me to be a woman of my word. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it no matter what it takes. I mean, even if I have to, not almost kill myself, but, pretty much to do so. So that happened. And then while we were there, I actually asked, anyways, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but basically I asked a question of like, to someone that was giving a class. I was like, hey, no one's ever gotten a Golden Door in our company before. What advice do you have for me and my cousin right here that are going for it? And they basically just told us like, they were like, not that you can't do it, but basically like, just come work for us. Like, and who you're around matters a lot. And I get it. Who you surround yourself does matter a lot, but I wanted to be able to bring that to our company now too, so more of their advice is, hey, well, kind of just come work for us. Like, what are you doing over there? You're kind of dumb, right? That's kind of how I took it. And I was like, hey, well, I'm going to prove you wrong and I'm going to get it. So
good for you. That's crazy. Just to lock in for 10 months, people like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym for a year straight. That's one thing. That's awesome. But that's like an hour a day if you're going every day. But to like commit to something as big as you did for 10 months, all day working for 10 months and all the sacrifices, like that's hard to do. So props for you for doing it. A question I have for you though is obviously 10 months is a long time to buckle down and work for your goal. I'm sure you had moments of adversity. I'm sure you had moments of like, especially the Rome trip or the family the family things you had to sacrifice. Like when those moments of adversity would come, whether it be on the doors or you're laying in bed and you're just exhausted and I could really just miss a week and go to Rome, I'm sure those thoughts crept in because you're a human being. We all have them. How did you stay so committed? How did you overcome any kind of adversity to hit your goal?
So you have to make it a priority. Like it pretty much has to be the most important thing in your life. And I mean, I think it depends a lot on what you want in life. Like I more did it too to just prove to myself, hey, I can do this, and also the lessons you learn from it. I feel like you just grow a lot doing something like that. But no, of course there was moments like when they went on that trip to Rome, I could have took the week off. I honestly was on track. I had time enough to take it off, but at that point I was so committed and into it. I'm like, I don't even almost want to risk going and then being so much on a time crunch to get it. I didn't want to stress. Like it wasn't worth the stress of going to me anymore because I already dedicated so much to getting it that I wasn't going to sacrifice or give up anything to not get it. In other words, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
like, not that it's necessarily a good thing, but pretty much everything else in my life was on the back burner that whole year.
for sure.
You know, like, not that I didn't take care of myself, but I didn't go to the gym as much. Not that you can't do that, but in my head, I just believed that this was what was more important to me. Of course, I still ate good and all the vitamins and all that good stuff, but still took care of myself. But in other words, like, that was the main focus. And then as far as family, like, they, of course, like, they were my biggest supporters. I call them all the time. But like I said, there was a lot of things I didn't go to. So I think it just depends a lot on what's important to you.
Totally. So you hit the 1,041 November. Have you knocked doors since then, or have you just been off season, living life, gearing up for this summer?
Yeah. So I got it November 23rd, and then I just had it in my mind set already. I was going to knock as long as I could to get just as many accounts as I could. So I ended up knocking till December 21st.
Oh, whoa.
To get the extra 40 accounts. So my goal was actually to get 1,088, but I did end up getting sick again in December, which I honestly was so grateful, because I got sick after I had gotten the golden door. So, I mean, it's of course normal to be sick. So I'm just grateful that it was only twice last year that I was more sick. But
Gotcha.
Sorry, what did you ask me?
My question is have you knocked doors since getting the award? Because what I was going to follow up with is I wanted to see what that award and accomplishment, because I bet you're a way better salesperson now than you were January 2024 when you embarked on the journey. So I just wanted to ask, how has it impacted your career? But I guess maybe you'll find out this summer when you hit the doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe you already know. Maybe you already know, but that was the question. How has it impacted your career?
So we had a little blitz, and they asked me to help, like, shadow people and train them. And that was my first time ever doing anything like that. I honestly was like, you guys want me to do that? Like, I almost didn't feel like I was qualified, if that makes sense, because I'd never done anything like that before. And they're like, Wendy, like, what are you talking about? Of course you're qualified, go do it. So yeah, it was definitely cool. Like, I feel like I see a lot of things now that I like people's mannerisms and things differently, like, and what they're really saying when they tell you something. Like, yeah, they're probably saying they need to talk to their wife, but what if it's the root cause is money? Like, just figuring that out. So it was really cool to go out there and help people and knock doors with them, help them get quite a few sales. So that was cool.
That time period, like, and I want to ask, I want your take on this as well, but when you get to be kind of a veteran status, you're going to have the accolades like you do now in the industry. People are wanting to pick your brain. They look up to you. It kind of just comes with performance. You perform well. People around you are like, oh, shoot, Wendy, what are you doing? Like, what are you saying? Like, can you help me? I feel like for myself, I'm just projecting right now. I kind of had a similar experience to you, not with the Golden Door, just with the competition in a solar company I was at. I was kind of newer, and it was a team competition where you pick teams of, I believe it was 3 of us, and my manager and my regional manager were competing, and then they picked me to be their teammate. And I was like, oh God, all right, I got to step up. But it was like a bracket style competition. You like compete against another team, and then you advance and advance. And so I think the entirety of the competition from when it started to when it ended was like 35 days. But it was 35 days of just like full commitment, just absolute lock in. I had a couple sales at midnight, just like you, fresh doors, just out grinding, sun up to way past sundown. But it was cool because in that month, I sold like quadruple more than I ever had in my career. I think I was like 3 or 4 years in at that point. But what was crazy was that month absolutely just raised my mental lid, my standard of what I knew I was capable of. So you'd think Like in your case, you just grind for 10 months, right? You get a golden door and it's just like, that's the top. And then you just go back down to where you're at. But what you might find, if you haven't already found, is your mental lid is now gone up to the point to where when you hit the doors consistently, you'll probably do more volume. Because after that competition for me, and I just went back into normal selling, just a, normality, I was selling I never went double what my normal production was. So it was a cool time. People ask me, and I'm sure they ask you, it's like, oh, what can I do? And I just tell them, like, regardless if there's a platform, like you don't need a golden door platform to go out and prove to yourself what you're capable of. You don't need a company provided competition. Although that's why they do these things, because it's good for individuals. It's good for sales reps to go out and have something to work towards or to earn. But I always suggest for people, just commit. If there's nothing in front of you that you can utilize, like golden door, just commit to yourself for 30 days, 60 days. Work as hard as you can. See what you can accomplish. And I promise you, if you do that and you stick to it, give yourself a reward at the end. If I hit X amount or whatever the case may be, you're going to raise your standard to where when you go back into just normal selling days, normal selling season, you'll do more because you now know what you're capable of. It's like going to the gym. If you are able to get a PR on a bench press, like you're not going to the next day be like, oh, I'm going to drop off 100 pounds. Like, no, you're going to keep pushing. And your normal reps, your normal sets are going to be higher. The weight's going to be higher. So I'm kind of excited for you to go out into your summer program, I guess in a month and a half or so, and just see, like, you'll probably have the best summer you had yet. And that's something you did want to bring up. So like you mentioned that through the entirety of the 10 months, it was a lesson in consistency. It wasn't necessarily like just breaking records. So speak to that a little bit, because I think that's very key.
100% agree with you. So I think it's good for people to know, like, there's not a day there wasn't many days that I was like constantly breaking PRs and PBs, personal records. And it was definitely a roller coaster. Like there was days I'd make more and days I'd make less. And there's sometimes I wouldn't make a sell till, how it is, past 7, 8 o'clock, and you're getting a little anxious, but you just got to keep going. But to realize you got to just keep riding out the roller coaster. You're going to have months that are going to be slow, and months that are going to go faster. And it's in the end, it's going to even itself out. You just have to keep going. Like, honestly, what it comes down to is you just have to keep going. You can't give up. You can't stop. So yeah, I would say just ride out that roller coaster, the highs and lows.
Mm-hmm. Total consistency. That's how, consistency is how you sustain or get, whatever the term is, longevity in our industry. Is consistency. Day in, day out, just stacking good, productive days, doing what you say you're going to do. And you'll look back in a quarter, you'll look back in 6 months and be like, oh, I've accomplished a lot. I've earned a lot. I've done what I said I'm going to do. And it feels good, right? It feels good. So I've got 3 questions left for you before we wrap up that I like to ask. The first, I guess, is on a more serious note, just a good question. Let's say I'm a rookie at your company, right? I go to my first meeting, you're there, and I find out, oh shoot, Wendy's a Golden Door winner. She's sold over 1,000 accounts in a year. And I have the pleasure of being driven to my area by you. I have 5 minutes in the car with a Golden Door winner, yourself. And I'm asking you advice. What's the 3 best pieces of advice you would give to a first day rep if you just had 5 minutes in a car ride with them?
Good question. I would say, well, first of all, I'd tell them that you just, like, really what it comes down to is you have to keep going. I think any goal that you have, first of all, know what your goal is. If you don't know what it is, then you're just shooting at no target. Like, you need to know what you want. Be really clear about that and have your reasons why and why it's important to you. And once you have that goal, realize the sacrifice you're gonna have to make for it. Keep going for it. But you just can't give up. I firmly believe, like, as long as you don't give up and you keep going, even after all the failures, you're gonna get that goal. You're gonna accomplish it. But it doesn't mean the journey's gonna be as good as you probably think. So I tell them, I tell them to know their goal. Don't give up, keep going, and you're going to get it for sure, no matter what. You just got to keep going. And honestly, I believe in God, and I feel like prayers are really important. So say your prayers too.
Say your prayers and keep going. I love it. So simple, but it's literally it. Just every day, just show up, get out of the car as quickly as you can, and just figure it out as you go.
100%. Right. There was a scripture that kept me through. I don't know. I don't know if you want me to talk about this.
You do you, Wendy.
Okay, so
people are here to listen to your story.
It was, thank you. It was in Matthew. I know I wrote it on the Instagram post I made too, but Matthew 7:7-8. That scripture got me through that year too.
What is the scripture?
It's I mean, I'm going to quote it as best as I can remember, but basically, ask and you'll receive, seeking you shall find, knocking it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that knocketh will be open the door. So basically, that scripture, I had it on my mirror, and I look at it every day, and I'm like, hey, like, I know I can do it. Just got to keep going. So, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, religious or not, for anybody listening, like that verse alone, like you can't not hear that and not find truth to it. You know what I mean? Ask and you shall find, knock and you shall receive, ask and you shall find, or paraphrasing, right? But super good. Yeah. All right, final 2 questions. These ones are fun ones. What has been the funniest thing, funniest story, funniest experience that has happened to you on the doors? Like, funniest thing. Come on, you know you have them.
Oreo. Let me get the dog. Oreo, come here. Sorry. Can let me grab him really quick. So I'd say the funniest thing that happened. Sorry, bloopers right here. The first thing that comes to my head when you ask me that is there was one time we were big, huge gated neighborhood. They like literally huge over here in Houston. I think they have their own governor. I was hearing some of them, like it's giant. Yeah, like it's big. It's a huge gated neighborhood. And they have guards, like literally there's guards to get into this neighborhood. Wow. And when they assigned us the neighborhood, just also people, do not be scared of knocking gated neighborhoods. They're amazing. The days I have gotten my PBs, they've been in gated neighborhoods. So
fresh doors, everyone's scared of them. Hit them.
Yeah, I mean, just don't be scared of them. They're definitely some gold cells in there. But so anyways, they assigned this area, and it has guards that you have to get in through. And of course, we're looking at it on the map, and we're like, hey, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get in this place? So we're driving out to area, and then we're thinking like what we can do, what we can tell them. So I told Chris, so he's who I got a golden door with. And by the way, I'm so grateful for him. Like, we stuck it out through the end together. Definitely made it a lot easier not being out there alone with him. But we're thinking of what we could tell him. And then I'm like, hey, like, we're pulling up to where the gate is. I'm like, hey, just give me an address, And I'm sitting here, and he's in the front seat with me driving my car. And he's like, he told me this address. And then we pull up to where the guard is, and they're like, hey, like, who are you? Like, what are you guys here for? And I was like, we're the cleaning people for this random address. And they're like, like the Flemings? I don't remember what name they were. Like, the Flemings. That's who we're here for. And they're like, okay, no way. Your driver's license. They got my license plate number, the VIN, like wrote it all down, gave me a pass. And they're like, hey, see you later. And then as soon as we got in, they're like almost shaking. We're freaking out. We're like, hey, like, we did it. And then that day, once we got our first cells, the next day we went in there again. We just told them one of our customers' names. But yeah, it was funny.
You have to just act like you own the place. You know, you walk in just confidently. I was selling out in Florida recently, and for some reason, everything's like an HOA gated. And so it was like, at first you're like, you like find a neighborhood on the map. You want to go knock. It looks good. You go there, gate. Like, after like the 3rd time, I was like, forget it. You know, just walk in, pull up an address. Oh yeah, we're here to service this customer. Just serious as a heart attack. And they're like, okay, what are they going to say? You know, get in there. Never an issue. But so many reps are afraid of that. They're just like, oh no, a gate. I can't go knock there. It's like, yes, you can. Just act like you own the place. Get in there. Be respectful. Don't be don't be a Looney Tune, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's funny though.
Yeah, the gated neighborhoods are awesome. I think also by the end of it, kind of what helped me have peace in them to not freak out all the time, because it can be nerve-wracking, is when I get in there, I'm like, look, the worst thing that can happen is I get copped out and I get arrested. Like, that's literally the worst thing that can happen. And at the end of the day, that's going to be a damn good story to tell. So there's really
right. Absolutely.
Like, so that's what helps me have fun out there. Like when I'm talking to people in the gated neighborhoods,
I love it.
It's just going to be a good story in the end of the day if something bad goes wrong. So,
and almost like you kind of wish it happens at least once. You're like, because
I actually did. So in that neighborhood, I almost wanted the cops. The second day we did get caught by the cops, but I almost wanted something to happen so that we could be a funny story. But
for sure. I feel like Texas is stricter with cops than most states. A lot of times if you're in HOA and someone does call the police, they just say, hey, leave. But like I've had buddies that will blitz out in Texas and they get arrested. 2 of them have literally gotten arrested. And I'm just like, whoa, maybe that's just a Texas thing. I don't know. But all right. Funniest thing. This last question before we wrap. Do you have any crazy stories from the doors? Like what's the craziest thing? Borderline scary?
I mean, I'm sure we all have the stories of guns, but nothing too crazy with that. There was my first year selling. This was more just kind of got a little bit grossed out, but I was lower income, but I was walking up to the house, and of course we all know people at Knock Doors, you meet all walks of life and people, and it's definitely interesting to see the way different people live and think. And I was just so surprised because walking up to the porch, it smelled literally like pee, like urine. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. So I was like, and of course it was my first year. So I was like, hey, knock every door. You can't miss a door. Like, don't, so I knocked on the door, and then this guy opens the door, and it was the son, but he was missing an eye. Like he had just a hole in his eye. It was like I was 18 at the time. So of course I'm like on edge, like, okay, I'm like, are you the homeowner? He's like, no, let me get my dad. And I'm sure you can imagine like that house reeked horrible, like smelled horrible. And then you're like, how do people even live in these conditions? But the dad ends up coming out, and he's in a wheelchair, and he was not wearing pants. And it was honestly pretty, so I was just trying to make eye contact. At that point, I was like, almost just like, please tell me you don't want
eye contact, literally?
Yeah, I was like, just eye contact with him. Like, please tell me you don't want pest control. I just want to leave. Like, I want to get out of here. So he was like, well, how much? I was like, shit. Okay, so it's this much. I didn't end up selling him, but he was like, no, like that's too much. I'm like, hey, cool. Like, have a good day. I walked out of there as quick as I could. But yeah, that's
that is. So the son had a missing eye, and the dad wasn't wearing pants.
He wasn't wearing anything down there. So I was just trying to keep eye contact. And yeah.
Oh no!
I'm like my poor 18-year-old self. But yeah, I booked it out of there as quick as I could. I'm like, let me leave.
Were you knocking with someone, or were you alone?
No, I was alone that time. First people were next to me in the areas, but no, I was there alone. I was like, let me get out of here. So
you're like,
but I will say, so I don't want to leave people in fear or anything, but out of the years I've done this, I've never, I feel like I've never been in a situation that is bad. And I feel like we're blessed with intuition to know, like, hey, is this dangerous? Yeah. Is it not dangerous? Am I safe here? So definitely follow your intuition.
Totally. That's wild. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't endure that. All right. So will we see Wendy in the future back up on stage with a second golden door? Is that in the future? Is that in your future?
I know you probably don't want to hear it, but I think for right now, I'm just focused on other things in life. But we'll see. We'll take it one year at a time.
One year at a time. Well, thank you, Wendy. If people want to follow, I don't know if you mentioned about posting, if they want to see you posting on social media, following your journey, where can they find you?
I mean, I'm on Instagram, wendy.s.jones. So
gotcha. Follow wendy.s.jones, Golden Door winner. Thank you so much, Wendy. We appreciate you. TV just turned off at the same time I said that. That's weird. I don't know if that's synchronicity. Oh, now it's back on. That's weird. Anyways, thanks, Wendy. Appreciate you. You're a stud. And I wish you personally the best of luck this summer, and I hope you crush it out there in Houston.
Of course. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be on.